So if you're learning Japanese, you've probably run into this problem. You can say simple things, but when you try to connect them, it all feels, well, a bit clunky. Today, we're going to fix that. We are unlocking one of the most powerful tools in the language, the te form for adjectives and nouns. This is the key to taking your speech from choppy to incredibly smooth.
Right, so let's get into what that really means. You know, when you're starting out, you learn to make these simple, perfectly correct sentences. But the real challenge, the thing that separates beginners from more fluent speakers, is stringing them all together. The goal isn't just to be understood, right? It's to sound natural. Okay, so here's a classic example. You want to talk about the amazing food you just had. You know how to say the food is cheap, and you know how to say the food is delicious. Both are totally correct sentences, but saying them one after the other feels a little robotic, doesn't it? It just doesn't flow. So how do we squish those two ideas into one smooth thought?
And the answer, the magic trick here, is something called the te form. I want you to think of it as grammar glue. Seriously, that's its main job. It's not a tense, it's not really a mood, it's just a special little connector that sticks your ideas together. It's the tool that lets us build those longer, much more descriptive and natural-sounding sentences.
All right, so how does this grammar glue actually work? The rules are, thankfully, pretty simple. Let's start with the first and probably most common type of word you're going to use this with, adjectives.
Okay, the rule for this is actually surprisingly simple. It's just 3 little steps. First, you take your adjective, like yasui, which means inexpensive. Then you just chop off that final I sound at the end. And finally, you add kute. That's it. So, yasui becomes yasukute. You've just made your first connector.
And you can see this pattern works for most i-adjectives. It's super consistent. Yasui becomes yasukute, oishi becomes oishikute. Easy. But there's one huge exception you've got to burn into your memory. The word for good, which is I, does something different. It becomes yokute. Just lock that one away somewhere safe in your brain. Trust me, you are going to use it all the time.
And just like that, we've solved the puzzle from the beginning. Hanomise no tabemono wa yasukute oishii desu. See how that works? We've linked inexpensive and delicious into one single elegant sentence. The food at that restaurant is inexpensive and delicious. Problem solved.
Okay, so what about other kinds of words? Well, the great news is it actually gets even easier from here. Na-adjectives and nouns follow a pattern that's not only similar, but even simpler.
For na-adjectives, it's literally one step. That's it. You just take the word itself, like kirei for clean or beautiful, and you tack on de right at the end. No dropping letters, no changing anything. So kirei becomes kirei de, which basically means clean and.
And you know what's awesome? The rule for nouns is exactly the same. You take your noun, like nihonjin for Japanese person, and you just add de. So nihonjin becomes nihonjin de, which means is Japanese and. This makes it so easy to remember the rule for both of them together.
Let's see this in action, okay? Yamashita-sensei wa nihonjin de. See, there's our grammar glue connecting the noun gojusei garai desu. Professor Yamashita is Japanese, and he is about 50 years old. Once again, we're just smoothly combining 2 separate facts into one fluid statement.
Okay, so we've got our connectors down. But hold on, because there's one more master rule you have to know. This is the key to everything, especially when you're not talking about the present. This is a big one.
And here it is. This is the big one. The te forms themselves, yasukute or kirei de, they don't have any tense. They're totally neutral. It is the very last word of your sentence that sets the tense and politeness for everything that came before it. That final word, it's the boss.
Let's break this down with an example so you can really see what I mean. Hoteru wa kirei de yokatta desu. So the first part, kirei de, is our neutral connector. But look at that final word, yokatta desu. That's the past tense of good. And because that ending is in the past, the whole sentence gets pulled into the past. The hotel was clean and it was good. See how that works?
And really, that's the whole system right there. Once you get these simple patterns and that master rule down, your Japanese is going to sound so much more fluent. So let's do a super quick recap, put it all on one final cheat sheet.
It really just comes down to this. For your i-adjectives, drop the final I and add kute. For your na-adjectives and for your nouns, just add de. That's your grammar glue. Master these 2 simple rules, and always remember that the ending of the sentence is the boss, and you are ready to start building some amazing sentences.
So now you know the secret. It's this simple little grammar tool that makes a huge difference. So now it's your turn. Think about it for a second. How would you describe your city? Is it big and exciting? Or maybe your favorite food? Is it spicy and delicious? Go on, try to build a sentence. Thanks for tuning in.